What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Maddie LeMay from Facebook, 5Gen4R from Instagram, and Project Abate from YouTube. Today I'm bringing you guys a video install of the Wolfbox G900. For those of you that don't know, this right here is a front and rear dash cam for your car. But what makes this unique from all the other dash cams on the market is your actual mirror that's on there goes away. You have the option with this to mount directly over your mirror, or in my case, I purchased a mount which will allow my new dash cam to replace this whole mirror. What I mean by replace the mirror is the dash cam is in the shape of a mirror, and there's a camera in front of this mirror that will record the road, and then there's a camera that will be in the back of your vehicle, and that will record all the time. They both will, but the one in the rear will display all the time on your actual mirror. So you're not gonna have a real mirror per se, you're gonna have a screen in its place. So yeah, let's go throw this thing in. Okay, so I have opened the box now. You can see this is the new mirror that's gonna go on my car. I'm gonna remove these tabs. This is the first step for me. It might be different for you in case you don't buy the mount. But I bought the mount, so what I'm going to do is remove these tabs and then mount this like so. That way the mirror will be gone and this will be in its place. So right now I'm going to go remove these little plastic pieces, remove these rubber pieces, and then screw in this mount. Okay, I've removed 2 of them already. There's 4 here. What you're going to do is this little rubber piece, it's just a sticker. I don't have nails, so this might be a little difficult to show you guys, but you're gonna essentially wedge something between the rubber sticker, if you will, and then peel it. And then you're gonna put that to the side. And then there's just a Phillips head screw. You're gonna use a screwdriver, loosen that, and you're gonna flip it upside down, let it fall in your hand. This one's being stubborn. So now I have that piece. You're gonna save the screws because you're gonna reuse them, and then these plastic tabs will just slide out. So I'm gonna do that for the rest, and then I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, with those 4 tabs and screws removed, you're gonna take this mount, and it's gonna just drop right in. Again, keeping in mind that you want the mount in the correct orientation of the mirror. So the next step is to take those 4 screws that you took out from the mirror itself, and you're gonna remount those without the plastic pieces on here. So I'm gonna do that now, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay guys, the next step would be to remove your mirror. So this just slides down. If you stick your finger on the bottom of the mirror right here and push straight up, it releases this metal mechanism that is holding it in place, and then it just slides right up. Once that's done, you can see I have fingerprints all over my glass. So what I'm going to do now is just spray it and clean it. That way I don't have to mess with it once the mirror is mounted. So that's what I'm going to do next. All right, I know it does not look like my windshield is clean. That's because the outside of it is filthy, but it is clean. So the next step is you're going to take your mount and slide it down on the piece that is here. Now there's a Phillips head here, so what you're going to do is just get underneath that and tighten it in place. Cool. So now that is done. Now what remains is the wiring. So I am going to wire mine to my aux beam. So this might be a little different for you guys, but what I'm going to do is essentially take this wiring, which is for the rear camera, and I'm going to tuck it up through the liner. And then for the actual power to the mirror itself, this is going to go to the mirror, and then this is going to go through my firewall. I'm going to cut these wires and I'm going to connect them to my aux beam That way the aux beam is receiving power when the vehicle is on, and I'm going to also hardwire it to my fuse box. That way when the key is turned, it will have power. So that's what I'm going to do next. Guys, so these had connectors on them before. I spliced them and threw them out, but essentially this would get wired. This is the ground. It get wired to a ground underneath your glove box, or underneath your driver's seat. Right there, there's a fuse box, and then this one would, it's a red wire, would get connected to a add a fuse, and then you would put it underneath again where that fuse box is. Because I'm hardwiring it to my aux beam, I'm not going to do that. So I already have a wire that is connected to my aux beam, red and black. So I went ahead and cut these two. I'm going to splice them, put some heat shrink on it, and then I'm going to solder the red to red and black to black, and that will be the power. And then this one, I am going to add a fuse, and I'm going to throw it up here, and that will give it the power from the fuse box when the car is not on and it's not being powered by the aux beam. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay guys, I have soldered those two pieces. Now I'm going to take this heat shrink, melt them on the individual strands, and then put this to cover them together and hold them together. So I'm going to do that real quick. All right, these are nice and insulated. Now I'm going to slide this over it and melt it again, and just make sure that everything is really insulated. All right, the next step, this is that box that was just soldered to the wire going to the aux beam. The other end of it, you're going to start by tucking it right here, and then you're going to work it to over here. And then with this pry tool that they gave you, you're just going to gently push it in here and tuck it behind this weather seal. And you're going to do that the whole length of the weather seal through the pillar, and then you're going to hug around the pillar and hug the top where it meets the windshield up until you hit the mirror, and this is where that wire will end up. All right guys, so this is the rear facing camera. Mine's going to be mounted in the place of this one. I have a mount from Etsy where it just will glue onto it, but if you look at this, it has the 4-prong connection that then plugs in to this harness. You're going to run the red wire down to your reverse tail lights. That way the mirror will turn on when you're in reverse and give you directional cues. And then this will run all the way up back to the mirror itself. So I'm going to run it the length of the cabin now. It took a while, but the camera is mounted to that piece that I got on Etsy. I'm gonna stick a piece of double-sided tape here just so it stays nice and flush and it doesn't move. But I ran the line through the pillar, through here. I ran the red line down here, and it actually comes out right here. So the next thing I have to do is disconnect my taillight and hook into the backup wiring for the vehicle. That way the mirror comes on. But as far as the wiring for the rest of the rear camera goes, I ran it along there, and then once I got to the doors, it was actually really easy because you can just peel this weather seal down, and there it is. It's right there. It's not interfering with the airbags. It's literally just resting on the weather seal, which I don't know how many times you take it off a day or a year. I don't ever touch it, so it's not going to be an issue for me. And then same thing with the front. Goes behind the weather seal, and then when it gets to here, it goes around and pops out right there. So I had to figure out what wire is my reverse wire, because if I don't know, then I can't tap into the correct one. I went ahead and connected to the red wire, which you can see here, goes straight down. And right now my taillight's disconnected. So hypothetically, if that is the wire, when I start the car and put it in reverse, it should trigger the camera. So let's see. So it turns on. Now we're gonna put it in reverse. It's in reverse now. And there you go. The lane assist or backup assist, just like on my camera, my OEM camera that is now looking at the ceiling because the lift gate is open. Now I know that that is the wire that I need to tap into. So let me go tap into that. Okay, so this is heat shrink. I ran the wire through the protector cable thing, and then soldered it and then put heat shrink on it. So that is good to go. Now I can plug it back into the Alpha Rex taillights that I have. And when I put it in reverse, the mirror will prompt the reverse guidance. I have OCD, so I made all this excess wire not excess. All right, so at this point, I have the red and black wire successfully soldered and heat shrunk to the wire that runs through the firewall to my aux beam switch panel fuse box. And then this wire right here, which is the B+, I am going to put it on the P outlet. That way when I turn the key, this will turn on. Now, going to the back of the car, this is the rear camera. Again, I told you guys that I bought this little plastic piece from Etsy. I did drill a hole in it, and the way that I secured this to make sure that would not move was I put the screw for this faceplate. There's double-sided tape on it anyway, and then I put 2 zip ties just to ensure that this will not like rotate left or right. And then as far as this, the existing like little plastic piece that comes with the 4Runner, you just push it in place and that secures that in place. But then on the front side, I put double-sided sticky tape between the roof and the 3D printed piece. So now all that remains is for me to plug the fuse into that P fuse under the driver's seat and then see if it works.
Okay, so here I'm in the garage. You can see the front camera being displayed. And then if you swipe, you can get the dual view, so the rear view on the left and the front on the right. If you swipe again, you can flip-flop them. And then if you swipe a third time, you can get just the rear view. Here I'm at Costco. You can see the rear view on the mirror. Now the front view. And then if you want, you can also split it and do front view and rear view. So this is just an example of what it looks like when you're driving. Again, cycling through the different settings available. So that wraps up the G900 install. If you guys found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to Project Abate on YouTube. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one.